Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gentle Movement at Home for Friday, June 12th. Glad you're able to join us at the end of a long week. So I'll just go through a couple of housekeeping pieces. First of all, I'm Jen Hansen from PBC and joined today by Neil Pearson. So Neil's a physiotherapist and therapeutic yoga instructor. So we're super happy to take questions after the session, but as you know, Neil can't provide specific medical advice. And we just suggest if you have any concerns to talk directly with your healthcare provider. We're recording this session and afterwards it will be available on Pain BC's YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook page in the video section. We do launch a little poll at the end so you can tell us what you thought. And if you need any help, you can either email us or put your question in the chat. Next week, we have 3 sessions scheduled. So Tuesday, June 16th at noon with Colleen Jorgensen. So Colleen did another session with us that was really popular. So we're super happy to have her back. And then Neil is instructing on Thursday and Friday next week. So we'll look forward to that. So that's all I have for you today. Before, or maybe Neil, you want to say something like about this as well, but I think what we both wanted to do is we've heard and we've sort of seen the analysis and the stats that of the viewership, and we were pleasantly surprised to see that these sessions are having a bit of a global reach. So we just want to welcome anyone who's watching these sessions from not just BC, but other parts of Canada, the US, the UK, Australia, all over Europe, Portugal, I think, just all over the place. So if you are tuning in from one of those countries, we're just super happy to have you join us, and we're excited that that gentle movement is providing some relief and for everyone. So Neil, go ahead. That's all I have, but a warm welcome to everyone. Oh, you're muted, Neil. Sorry, hang on a second. Sim's gonna unmute you, I think. Oh, no, Neil, I think you're gonna need to unmute yourself. Sorry, everyone.
How is that now?
Oh, perfect.
That's there? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Right, so thanks, Jen, and yeah, welcome to everyone from wherever you are coming in from. So I think it was 5 provinces and the Northwest Territories in Canada, 13 states in the United States, and I think, including Canada and the United States, we had 19 different countries that people have been watching. So that's fun.
So cool.
I know it's that broad, yeah. So welcome and thanks. So today what we're going to do is work on a little bit of movement and sitting, and then we're going to move into standing. Excuse me. Move into standing, and in standing, what we're going to do is a few simple movements, and then we'll move into some balance. So once we come up to a standing position, we'll have a chair beside us or in front of us to give us a little bit of a balance if we need, to give us a little bit of support. Of course, you can use your hand on the wall, or if your balance is good and you want to sort of challenge it a little bit more and you know you're safe to do that, you can just keep your hands free. But we'll guide you along as you're going. So let's just sort of come into the moment a little bit more. So bring our attention to our breath and to our body. Maybe you can notice your feet resting on the floor and your seat resting on the chair. Maybe you can notice the length of your spine. Just scan through your body quickly to those areas of your body that tend to be tense, and bring some softening or relaxation into those areas. Sometimes it helps to create a sensation like you're breathing into an area of tension. And sometimes it helps to, as you exhale, as you feel the exhale, like the air is just releasing out, you can sort of release tension in that area as well. You can come up with certain affirmations or statements, things like, it's okay to let go. As you're doing this, you may notice that maybe it's not your body that needs to let go. Maybe there's a thought that you want to let go of, or maybe there's an emotion there that's something that you want to let go of a little bit. So what we'd say is the same sort of idea that you might do about pain is maybe it'd be best to divide your attention. So if there's a thought or an emotion or pain that's there, rather than just pushing it away or pushing it down, sometimes it helps to divide our attention. So you can still pay attention to that pain or thought or emotion. At the same time as you pay attention to other things, like the sensations of your body, or the sensation of your feet on the floor and your seat on the chair. If you haven't tried these kinds of things before, just be curious and especially can be a little bit playful about it. Is more like it's something that you've not tried before and you sort of wonder, well, I wonder what I can actually do here. As you're doing any of this, if you're feeling some benefit, the question I would always have for you is, if you got that much benefit from doing it just a little bit, imagine how much better you'd be at this if you practiced it every single day for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Because a lot of times learning how to move with more ease and learning how to calm things down, it's a skill, something that we need to practice more and more. So I'm going to get you to change your breath a bit. So as you breathe in, feel your breath coming down into your torso, and maybe you can feel your ribs coming out to the side, or maybe it's okay for you to feel your belly to expand towards the front of your body a little bit. Just focus on the inhale for a few breaths. So each time you breathe in, as if you can feel the air and the energy coming down into your torso, feeling the expansion of the bottom of your torso, your ribs coming out to the sides, or maybe your belly coming out to the front. So you don't need to really push it hard, but just feel that that's where the air is going. Feel where your body is moving there. Now keep doing that on the inhale, but on the exhale, what I'm going to get you to do is to create a sensation like you're lifting your spine, or actually engage the muscles around your spine a little bit, like you're coming up taller. So as you breathe in, you can feel the air and the energy of your breath coming down in your torso. And as you breathe out, you're just letting the air come back out again. You can feel that lengthening of your spine. So it won't be a big movement of your body on the inhale. And you may feel almost no movement of your body on the exhale, just that sensation of length. Or maybe today, instead of working on length in your spine, you might want to work on a sensation of lightness. If the exhale creates a bit of a sensation of lightness. If you are going to work on lightness, divide your attention so you can still feel your seat and you can still feel your feet on the floor. And maybe as you inhale, you can even push your feet into the floor a little bit. And as you do that, maybe it feels like almost like the air or the breath or the energy of your breath is not just going to the bottom of your torso, but down through the pelvis, through your thighs, through your legs, to your feet as you breathe in. There's a little bit of things coming down towards the earth as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, there's a sensation of this gentle lightness, like energy is coming up, or like length is coming up, but you still feel your feet on the floor. And remember, even with doing something like this, if it's not serving you, if it doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do, then let it go. If you've lost your breath or you feel like you need more oxygen, just let the breathing go, recapture your breath, decide whether you want to come back or maybe feel like this isn't the right breathing technique to do here and now today. If you've been here before, you know that there's no way that we could give everyone the right technique all the time for whatever issues are happening for you. So we're hoping you'll become the best judge. All right, now when you finish your next exhale, just let that go. Just move your body around a little bit, shake your arms. It would feel okay. Just circle your torso around over top of your pelvis a little bit this way. You can do it a little smaller than this, or you can do it even bigger than this. And then pause and go the other way around. And now you can still feel your feet on the floor and you can feel your seat on the chair, and you've got your spine a little bit tall. Just let your breath come to whatever pattern would feel okay for you right now. Just move your shoulders around a little bit. And just loosen things up just a little bit before we start in some other movements. You can do big, slower circles of your shoulders, or you can do smaller ones and faster ones. And try going back the opposite way, see how that feels. Now, if you run into any pain or tension or discomfort, remember it's okay going up to the edge of it if that feels all right. Or decide that's where it is, and maybe for today you're going to work in that more easeful place where you're not challenging yourself all that much, because you don't have to challenge everything every day. So let your shoulders relax now. Smooth out your breath again. Just bend your hands or your elbows so your hands come up around your shoulders and straighten them out a few times. Just sort of get the blood flowing a little bit into your arms, and while you're doing this, you can make gentle fists and spread your fingers out. Just get a little bit of more energy through your body. Maybe you've been sitting still for a while. And then let your hands come on back down again. Round your spine so your chin comes down towards your chest, and then come on back up again. And just do that a few times. The movement that feels right for you, so maybe it's a much smaller movement than I'm doing. Or maybe you want to go even bigger and pull your shoulders back and lift your chin up. When you come down, maybe you really want to get a roundness of your spine. Just find that right spot. And maybe for today, you're holding your low back still and you're just rounding in your upper back and your mid back. Or maybe today you're holding your upper back and mid back still and you're just moving down your lower back around your pelvis. You can play with these things and you can adjust it to see what serves you best today. So when you come back to that center place again, put your right hand over on your left knee. Put your left hand either on the side of the chair or on the side of your thigh. And just bring yourself into a twist. Come on back to the center. And then go the other side. Just back and forth a little bit. Just getting your spine moving. Whatever speed feels good. Remember, you don't crash to the pain. Just go whatever feels like the right amount today. And just one more time over on the right, then come on back to the center again. So your feet on the floor and your spine a little bit tall. Come back if you can. If that breathing at the beginning felt okay, come back to that breath. So as you breathe in, you can feel the air coming down, your torso expanding, ribs and maybe belly at the front. And as you breathe out, you can feel that sensation of rising up in your spine. As your hands rest down beside you, turn your palms a little bit towards the front of your body. And when you breathe in, take your arms up, only as far as you want to go, and then bring them on back down again. And so when your arms go up, if you want your hands to touch, but your shoulders don't quite make it, you can let your elbows bend and then bring your hands back down. If you find that your shoulders are coming up like this, then either don't lift your arms up so high or try to let your shoulders soften down a little bit more. Just try to find a nice movement of this. So it feels like a easy movement to circle your arms up and come on back down again. Great. When your arms come on back down again, let them rest for a moment. And do a little bit of side bend of the body. So take your left ear down towards your shoulder, but then let your body come into a side bend to the side. And then come on back up with your body, come on back up with your head. Head goes the other side, and then a side bend the other side. Let's start with your head tilting, and then let your body tilt. Now maybe you need to put your hands down. Maybe you feel like this is creating a little bit of sensation of uneasiness. You want to hold on a bit, do that. Or maybe you want more stretch and you're going to take that opposite arm across your ear as you go into the side bend. If that feels like the right thing to do, then work on that today. Just trying to get some gentle movement through the torso. And then come on back to the center and just let things rest there again. See if you can come back to that breath again. Breathe in, feel the energy of your breath coming down. Maybe coming down to the base of your spine, base of your torso, down into your legs, down to your feet, whatever distance it feels okay. Using that to stay connected to your seats and your feet on the earth, or on the chair, or on the floor, wherever you are. And then that sensation of lightness as you breathe out, or that sensation of length up your spine as you breathe out. So as you breathe out, if you feel things creeping up, like your shoulders and your eyebrows creeping up, then just try to let them relax. Great. All right, so now if you're not sitting at the side of the chair or at the edge of the chair, sit towards the edge of the chair, take your feet out a little bit distance, and we're going to do a forward bend. And so there's some different ways that you can do this today. So as you move into a forward bend, maybe you want to leave your hands on your thighs and come forward like you're doing more of a hinge. So it's more like as you come forward, it's like you're hinging more at the hips and coming forward this way. Or maybe as you go forward, it's okay for you to round your back. Or maybe as you go forward, you're going to let your hands come down and touch the floor. Now, if you're not sure which one is the right one to do, then try the different ones and see. Right? So find the one that feels like, yeah, this feels safe. This feels like a nice challenge, the right challenge for me today. All right, so the one other thing to watch while you're doing this is do your best not to hold your breath, because sometimes that happens as we're doing this movement. So I'm going to start with my hands on my knees, and I'm going to let myself round forward and come down. And then I'm going to use my hands to push myself back up a little bit, because that feels like a nice place to start for today. And as I do this, things are getting a little bit looser in my back, but that's might not be what's going for you. So as I continue to do this, I'm actually going to take myself down and let my hands come off my knees and take my hands down towards the floor and then come on back up. Just try that a few more times. Remember, you can pause whenever you want to. You don't have to keep on going if it doesn't feel like the right thing to do. Remember, you can do more like a bow, like a hinge at the waist. You can bring your chin down and round your spine down. And you can slide your hands down between your legs, wherever they want to go, shins or feet or floor, and then come on back up again. And once you come back up again, just pause there for a moment. Check in, make sure you're doing all right. Notice what's happening with your breath. Notice what's happening with your body. Notice what's happening with thoughts and emotions. And if you do have pain or tension or discomfort, notice what's happening there as well. If it would feel good to come back to that breath pattern, where you're feeling your breath coming down to the bottom of your torso, maybe even feeling it coming down through your legs and to your feet. And as you breathe out, that lengthening or lightening in the spine. We're going to try a couple more forward bends in a little bit different way. So the next thing I'm going to get you to do is to keep your left leg straight and take your right leg straight out in front of you. So again, from the side, it would be sitting on the edge of the chair, that leg is down there. And so I can leave my hands on my legs again. And I have my options that I can do here. One of the options I can do is to round this way. One of the options I have is to come forward more so like I'm hinging at the hips. And then the other option would be to put it together and slide down, let my chin come down to wherever feels like the right thing to do. So you can decide for yourself and just try it out. Come down to a spot that feels like the just right place, and then come on back up. Notice as you're doing this, what's happening in your breath and what's happening in your body. So if you start to feel your body getting really tense, see if you can release that, if that helps it be more easy. Or if you feel your breath holding, see if you can keep your breath going. Because sometimes when we hold our breath and we tense up our body, it stops us from going further. And sometimes that seems to be related to even having more pain. So if you are still doing that movement, come on back up, sit back up again. check in if there's anything that needs to be shifted around or moved around. Now we're going to try the other side. So same idea, sitting at the side of the chair. You're going to have your right knee bent, left leg straight out in front of you. Remember, you have the options of rounding your spine, more hinging at the waist, or bringing them both together to reach forward, and just go whatever feels right for you. Right, so just slide down or hinge forward, wherever feels like the right distance. Keeping your breath flowing while you do it. Keeping your body tension from getting too tight. Not ignoring discomfort or tension or pain, but if you do have it, knowing it's okay to go to the edge and come away. And making sure you're doing something that feels like it's still safe and you feel like if I keep doing this, I'm going to be all right later. So if you are still moving, come on back up. Take your hands behind you this time and either hold onto the side of the chair, or if you want to, put your hands behind you and clasp your hands together a little bit if you've got room back there. So as you do this, lift up your chest a bit, pull your shoulder blades down a little bit, and then as you breathe in this time, create a sensation like you're lifting your chest a bit more, pulling your arms back a bit more, and then let it release a little bit. And then breathe in, reach, like you're coming into a little bit of a back bend. Just remember, if you run into tension, discomfort, or pain, just go up to the edge. Ask yourself those questions. Do your best to keep your breath moving. Best to not let your body get really tight. And if you haven't really practiced this much, remember it's important to not ignore the pain. It's also important not to put all of your attention on the pain. So after you release next time, just let your arms come down, give them a bit of a shake around. So just that reminder of part of the reason to pay attention to your breath and to pay attention to your body tension and to notice what's happening in the mind through, am I safe and will I be okay later, is to divide your attention so that you're not only paying attention to the pain. And so that's part of the usefulness of it, because I'm sure a lot of you realize how there are times when you move and you're moving towards the pain. It's almost like the only thing that you can think about is the pain. And what we're thinking is that if that's the only thing you can do, that might not be the right activity. You maybe modify the activity with how far you go, or how many times you do it, or how long you hold it, right? It's not the wrong thing to do. You don't need to run away from it all the time. It's just the idea to explore. Are there other ways you could approach this? All right, so this time we're going to put both legs straight out. So sit at the edge of the chair. You can have your knees still bent a little bit if you want to, or you can have them straight. So you start with your spine tall and your legs out there, and you're going to do the same thing, either round your back here, or what you can do is hinge forward more from the waist, or you can do the two of them together, chin down, hinge forward, round the spine, come on back up. Do whatever pace feels right for you. Do whatever distance feels right for you. Right? Find that place that feels like the right amount of effort as you go forward. The place that you feel like, yeah, if I do this, I can keep going for a while. I'll be all right. And knowing that it's possible that you made the wrong prediction as you keep on going, you might say, I think I am going too hard with this. I need to pause for a moment and just pause and shift around before you carry on. If you are okay with carrying on, just try a little bit more. Lie down. Feel that lengthening through the back of your legs and the lengthening through the low back and the upper back and neck, and find that just right stretch. If you're still doing it, when you finish the next one, come on back up. Sit back on up tall again. Lift your shoulders up around your ears, let them down. For a moment, just scrunch your face up a little bit and then let it go. Just try that a couple times. Feel the effort of bringing your face muscles on and then let them turn off. Sometimes that can just make it easier to let the muscles go. All right. So come back to that seated place. Come back to that breath, feeling the breath come in, expanding the ribs out or the belly out, or maybe feeling the breath coming all the way down to your feet on the floor. And when you breathe out, creating that sensation of lightness or length up your spine, right to the crown of your head. So you're dividing your attention even here between your feet and your seat and your breath and the sensations in your body as you breathe. All right. So now we're going to come up to a standing position. So I'm just going to put the chair to the side so I can have it there just in case my balance gets a little tippy. So put your feet about hip distance apart. So just have a look down. Your feet should be sort of parallel to each other. If they're way out like that to the side, try to bring them into a bit, but also, take care that you feel like you're still in a place of some ease around your knees and your hips when you're doing that. If it's best to keep your hand on the chair or have the chair in front of you and have both hands in your chair, go ahead and do that. So come back to that breath here, just like you did in that seated position. When you breathe in, feel the energy of your breath coming down, like your torso is expanding towards the sides or your belly coming out as you breathe in. Not a big forcefulness. And now as you breathe out, instead of just having that sense of length through your spine, see if you can do it all the way from your feet. So as you breathe in, maybe you can feel all the way down to your feet. And as you breathe out, you still feel your feet, but you can feel like your legs are getting a bit longer, your spine is getting a bit longer, or there's a sense of lightness in your legs, pelvis, torso, spine, up to the top of your head. And as you're doing this, as you're standing here, check in, see if there's anything that needs to be shifted around. So maybe you're feeling like your hips are a little bit tight and you want to shift them around a little bit. Or maybe you're feeling like, no, just staying still is the right thing to do. Same thing around to your neck or your shoulders. If you feel like something's gripping a bit, maybe move it around or maybe just stay still. And take your breath there, or take your attention there and see if you can let that go a little bit. All right, so we're going to keep on coming back to that breath to see if that can sort of help us with balance of feeling longer and a bit lighter when we move into balance, but also feeling that sensation of being, the breath connecting us all the way to the earth as we breathe in. So either have your hand on the chair for balance or put both of your hands on your hips. Come back to the breath so you can feel the breath coming in all the way down to your feet. You can feel the breath on the way out, the lengthening of your legs, lengthening of your spine. Shift your weight over top of your left foot. Bring your right knee up just like you're stepping up a big step and put it back down again. And then shift your weight to the other foot. Same idea. So as you lift your knees, see if you can breathe in. And then as you breathe out, your foot's coming back down and you feel that length all the way through the other side. So you breathe in, you're lifting your knee up. Breathe out, you're feeling the leg come on back down again. Just try it like that. If it does not feel like the right pattern of breath, it's perfectly fine to shift it around the one that works better for you. Just one more time each side. See if you can smooth out your breath. Right. And when we come back to the other side, we're going to do one more time each time, but this time see if you can hold it for 2 or 3 breaths. Just lift that knee up. Breathe in, breathe out. Out, putting your foot down if you can. Your hand needs to be there. If you need to put your foot down, go ahead and do it. Now you should be breathing in again. And when you breathe out, let that leg come on back down. Just check in for a moment. Notice what's happening in your breath and your body. The muscles around your hips are tight again. Maybe shift them around a little bit, or maybe just stay right still and create a sensation like you're breathing into those muscles to see if you can get them released a little bit. Great. So again, you can put your hand on the chair for the next thing. And I hadn't mentioned, actually, if you want to take a break, remember, you can. Anytime that you want to sit down, please go ahead and do it. You don't need to. You don't have to feel like, oh, I'm not going to sit down until I need to. Sometimes it's better to stop to sit down and take a break when you want to, rather than waiting until you need to. So you have to decide that for yourself. All right, so for the next one, we're going to move into a position where you're going to take your foot. So you're going to shift the weight to your right foot. You're going to take your left foot And either put the heel of the foot against the inside of the other shin and your toes on the ground, or if you're all right with it, to put your foot up against the inside of your calf. For those of you who can go further, you can take the foot up and put it on the inside of the thigh way up here, if that feels like okay for you. I'm going to do it on my calf for today. So start again with your feet on the floor. Probably best to have the chair there if you're not used to doing something like this, so you can use it for balance, and maybe once you get to the position you can steady yourself or you're steady enough. So you're going to shift your weight to your right hip this time. Right, so don't lift up that other foot yet, come back to your breath. So as you breathe in, you can feel the energy in your breath coming down and your foot on the floor, and as you breathe out, you feel that lightness. Okay? So next time when you breathe in, you're going to lift that left foot up. Either put the heel on the shin and the toes on the floor, or the sole of that foot on the calf, or up above the knee. Often we don't get people to put their foot on the inside of the knee, because if you push it against the inside of the knee, sometimes that's aggravating for the knee itself. That's where the idea of have it below or above. So while you're doing this, so just be here, your hands on the chair. Breathe. Feel your breath coming all the way in, all the way down to the floor. As you breathe out, you can create that sense of lightness up your spine. This left hand, you can put it on your hip if you want, or just let it rest on your thigh. Right hand can be on the chair, or if you want to, you can let it rest. Breathe. Remember, you can stop this anytime you want. You don't have to carry on. So you can still feel your breath, you can still feel your foot on the floor, and you can feel that lightness of your spine as you breathe out. And when you go to breathe out next time, release that foot down to the floor. Just pause there for a moment and give it a bit of a shift around in your hips if that feels like the right thing to do. Scan through the rest of your body and notice what's going on. And then we'll try the other side. Hand on the chair again. So start with that. The weight over on top of the left leg, come back to your breath. So feel that breath coming in smoothly, feel the breath going out smoothly. You feel your foot and you feel the length of your spine. When you're ready, when you breathe in next time, either bring the sole of that foot to the inside of the shin and toes on the ground, or your foot to your calf, or your foot up above and at your thigh. Wherever you get to, as you breathe out, feel that lengthening of the spine up. As you breathe in, feel the sensation of your breath coming all the way through your torso down to that foot. Find that place where you can feel more steady. You can have the left hand on your hip if you want. You can feel your breath. And you know you can stop anytime you want to. You do not need to keep on doing this. If you can't keep your breath flowing, if your body's getting really tense, if you're starting to wonder if you're not safe anymore, go ahead and put that foot down. If you're there, stay with it. If you put your foot down, feel free to come right back in, or feel free to sit down in the chair. Do what's going to serve you best today. So you still have that sensation of getting length and lightness as you breathe out, and that sensation like the air is coming all the way down to your foot when you breathe in. When you go to breathe out next time, if your foot's still up, let it release, bring palm back down to the floor again. And just give it a bit of a shake around. You can feel your feet on the floor. Circle your shoulders around a little bit. Circle your head around just a little bit. Just release the tension because sometimes doing these balance things can make us tense all the way through our body. Let your fingers come in and out a little bit. Put your hands on your waist and come into a little bit of a forward bend or a little bit of a forward fold and come back up again. And if it feels okay, do a little bit of a back bend. Just move your spine back and forth a little bit this way. Great. And then do a little bit of a side bend, whatever would feel good, one way or the other way. Just do it a few times. And just release tension after you've been holding still the balance. Then come on back to that neutral spot. If your feet need a little bit of a shift around or your ankles need a little bit of circles, go ahead and do that. Trying to get you prepared. We're going to do another balance exercise. So this time, feet underneath your hips again. You're going to use that chair again. So what we're going to do this time is a little bit like the first one. So you're going to shift your weight over to the right first. you're going to lift the knee up in front of the other hip and then take the knee out to the side. Now, once you get to here, if you want to stay here, you can stay here. You can leave your hand there. If you would like to go further with this, what you can do is look over top of your other shoulder. A lot of times when we look over our shoulder, it really sort of tips us around. So you're going to need to be careful with that. If you're not sure, put your hand on that chair and come over. Now, all right, so if you start along with me, come on back down. If you haven't, let's move into this slowly. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the breath coming in, torso expanding, belly expanding, all the way down to your feet. That sensation as you breathe out the length of your legs and length of your spine. Put your hand on the chair. It's in front of you, put it there. Shift your weight over. I'd put the other hand on my hip for right now. Shift the weight over. Do your best to keep your hips level now. So as that knee comes up, try your best not to do this, and try your best not to let the hip fall down. So your hips are pretty well level. You bring your knee up, and then you're going to put your left hand on your left knee. Keep the breath flowing. You can feel your breath coming all the way in, expanding. And then see if you can bring that leg, or how far you can bring that leg to the side. So maybe for today, it's going to come here. Maybe for you for today, you can keep your pelvis and your body facing the front, but you can take your leg out further to the side. I can still feel that foot on the floor, and I can still feel my breath. I can feel the effort. So I'm not going to release all that muscle, but I'm going to try to release effort where I don't need it. If I'm here and I feel like it's time to stop, I'll stop and put my foot back down again. Or what I can do is take my head and look over the other shoulder. And maybe once I'm there, I can release that arm off the chair. Or maybe I need to leave it there for balance for right now. I'm checking in. How's my breath? How's my body tension? Do I still feel like I'll be okay later? How is the pain? I mean, you might have stopped long before I have or other people have. Bring that knee back around to the front. Bring it on back down to the floor. Give yourself a bit of a shift around in your hips, because that probably made the muscles around your hips tight. So while you're standing there on that leg, if you're starting to feel tension, discomfort, and pain building up, do your very best as the first reaction is to say, all right, can I soften things? Can I smooth things? Can I decrease the effort here? Can I expose my body just to a little bit more without just toughing it out? So that's what you want to try to be curious with. And know that it's perfectly fine to stop, because what we need to do is move our body a bit more and then move it a bit more over time. Give it time to adapt, because our bodies really can. All right, let's try the other side. Feet on the floor, hand on the chair. I'm going to put my other hand on that hip again. So I'll need to be far enough away so I can get my leg out the side. Bring the knee up. Before you go any further, get your breath. Breathe in, feel like the breath is coming down. Breathe out, lengthening of the spine. Use that hand on the chair as much wherever it is, as much as you need to. Do your best not to let that hip come up like that or come way down. If it's doing that, just put your foot back down and relax. So let the muscles recapture their strength again, and then come on back in. So the weight's over. I feel my breath. The knee comes up. So you might need to put that hand, the other hand, on the chair or on the wall while you're here. Or maybe you're all right without your hand down. Take the knee out to the side. Try your best not to let your body come to the side. Let your body stay still and let the knee come out to the side. But I can still feel my foot on the floor. I can feel that length of my spine. I'm checking in. Is it time to stop? Does it feel safe? What's happening to my pain? What's happening to my breath? Knowing that it's perfectly fine to put that leg back down again. And if you're doing okay with it, to let it stay up. If you're going to turn your head to the side, I'd really recommend that you put one hand down. Just let your head come to the side. And once you've got the balance, and you're not feeling like you're too tippy, maybe it's time to take that hand off. Or maybe it's time to leave your hand on the chair or the wall. I can still feel my breath. Maybe you've rested by now. Or maybe you've come back in and joined back in. Maybe that's enough. Decide for how you feel today. When you're ready, bring that foot back down to the floor. Let's give your hips a bit of a shift around. Check in. Do you need to release your hands? Do you need to get your shoulders to release a bit? Maybe your elbows, your upper arms, your neck. Just check in to see how everything's doing right now. Pause for a moment. Either have your hand on the chair, sit back down in the chair, or stay standing. If you're okay with it, close your eyes for a moment and check in. If there's muscles that feel like they're still gripping from you standing here, make a choice. Do you think you could continue to stand and let those muscles release a little bit? Could you use your breath? Could you use your mind to send messages that it's okay to let go? Could you use your exhale to let the muscles let go while you're standing? And maybe you try this and it's working, or maybe you try this and you're feeling like, no, while you're standing, it's not going to let go all that well. If that's the case, come back to a seated position. Now, if you come to a chair or if you're still standing, put your feet about hip distance apart. Not going to do another balance, just going to do another couple movements of your back. Turn the palms of your hands towards the front of your body, front of the room, I guess where you are. Take a breath in, take your arms out to the side. Whatever height they feel good. If they feel good going all the way up, then bring them together and let your palms come down the front of your body. So feel the movement of your shoulders. And when your hands touch, feel your palms just gently pressing against each other as your arms come down the center. So as you breathe out, you're drawing in this time. A little bit different from what we were doing before. So as you breathe in, you're going to reach with your legs and reach with your arms and reach with your spine. And as you breathe out, you push your hands together a little bit as you come down, but you feel everything drawing in just a little bit. So breathe in, reach out. Breathe out, draw in just a little. And just try that a few times. Breathe in, reach out. Once your palms get together, draw in. Now remember, just like at the beginning, if your arms don't go all the way up straight, you can let your elbows bend until your palms come together in front of your heart or head or chest, wherever it gets to. So reach as you inhale, draw in as you exhale. And then when your arms come on back down again, next time just let your arms rest. Come back to a seated position. When you sit down, if it would feel better to sit with your spine against the back of your chair, your back against the back of the chair, go ahead and do it. Or if you're okay sitting at the edge of the chair, your spine reaching up, do that as well. Once again, check in. Notice how you're doing right now. Notice what's happening around your face, in your neck, in your shoulders. Maybe there's some muscle tension there. And you can use your breath to let that go a bit more. Or maybe you want to move it around a little bit to let that tension go. Do the same thing around your hips and your low back. If there's still tension there, maybe a little bit of movement would be good to let those muscles relax. Or maybe breathe into that area. Create that sensation like your breath is going into the area of the muscles that are still holding on to them. Same thing all the way down to your feet. Feel your legs, feel your feet, feel your arms, feel your hands. Maybe there's someplace there where the muscles are still holding on. Breathe into those areas and see if you can get them to release. Or as you exhale, let the tension release. And one last time, come back to that breath pattern. If that breath pattern was doing okay for you, come on back to this sensation of your feet are on the floor, your seat is on the chair as you breathe in. You can feel the breath coming down, your ribs expanding a bit to the sides, your belly expanding a bit to the front. As you breathe out, you can feel almost like that energy that just came down, like it's reaching back up again. And maybe you can feel it reaching back up all the way from your feet to your legs, to your spine, to the crown of your head as you breathe out. And as you breathe back in again, almost like it's coming back down. As you're doing this, see if you can smooth it out. And see how much you can make it about making your breath last longer, rather than making it really big and deep. So breathing in for a few seconds, but you're not worrying about getting a lot of air in. You're just letting it happen over a longer period of time. Same when you breathe out. Your exhale is just lasting a longer time. You're not necessarily blowing out more air or bringing in more air. And then when you finish your next exhale, just let that go. If it would feel best to sit at the back of the chair, go ahead and do that, or stay where you are at the edge of the chair. If you're all right, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Maybe there's something in the room, you can just fix your gaze on something. That might be the thing that helps you look internally a little bit better. Just notice what's happening with the pain right now, or tension or discomfort. Notice what's happening with your breath. Notice the other sensations of your body, like your feet in your seat. Notice what's happening in your thoughts, and notice what's happening in your emotions as well right now. Now, maybe there's something you've experienced in this class that you want to remember. So just hold on to it a little bit, because in a moment, Jen's going to come on back on, and she's going to ask you to complete a poll, and we'll see if anyone has any questions. I hope this has been a good class for you today, giving you a little bit of movement, a little bit of a challenge, and some relaxation all at the same time.
Thank you, Neil. And here's our poll for everyone who is able to fill it out. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm not seeing any questions, so we'll just give it a minute. But otherwise, I think I'm just wishing everyone a very peaceful weekend, and I hope we can carry these nice, relaxing feelings and practices into the next couple of days until we see you next week. And again, thanks for everyone who has come out and continues to come out and watch the recorded videos. We're just so appreciative that you're spending your time with us, and we're hoping that these practices are helping. So thanks again. Neil, there's no questions, so I think we will just say goodbye, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right,
bye, everyone.
have a good weekend.